Let's get into the Autodesk DevCon recap. Autodesk DevConX in Boston was held on May 14th and 15th at Autodesk office in the beautiful Boston Seaport. It was a 2-day conference filled with insightful information from Autodesk product teams, and sessions were tailored to experienced developers, new developers, executives, and more. We got to learn about some of the new beta features, the direction Autodesk is going, the fun things they are experimenting with, and of course there were lots of classes to help us learn and grow. Not to mention sessions for us to provide feedback based on our experiences. Autodesk promised a lot and did not disappoint, although I don't have much to compare to since this was my first DevCon, but I enjoyed every minute of it. What I appreciated the most was the size of the conference. Autodesk DevCon in Boston only hosted about 150 people, which is probably the smallest conference I have ever been to. It was small but mighty in the fact that because of the size, it provided me with a lot of one-on-one time with Autodesk's team. I got to speak with product managers, system architects, the people behind the products. They're brilliant, and hearing their thoughts, understanding their reasonings, and getting a glimpse of how they see the future made my mind race. I will soon dive into the sessions I attended, who taught them, and what I learned. But first, I want to touch on one thing that really stood out to me, which wasn't much of a surprise, but still kind of gets me every time. And that is the gender diversity. See, although I know that there aren't many women in either the AEC or tech industries, and putting those two together probably made the percentage of women who would attend DevCon even scarcer, I was still surprised that honestly most of the women there were employees of Autodesk. I mean, it is incredible to see that Autodesk itself had a great female representation, but I couldn't say the same about the attendees. There were far and few between. Out of about 150 people attending, maybe only about 5% of them were women. I noticed this the most in one of the sessions I attended on the first day. It was a no-code, low-code session. I went and sat in the room, and as the doors closed, I looked around the space to find that other than the two women who were hosting the session, I was the only female in the room. Even though this unfortunately happens time and time again, it still never stops surprising me. This happened over and over again throughout the conference. I'd be sitting at a table. I was the only woman there. We went out for drinks. I was the only woman there. And to be honest, it doesn't really bother me all too much because I do have an amazing and supportive team that always makes me feel included. However, I can't help but feel a bit different, kind of, the odd one out. And that is not to say anything bad about the other attendees. They were all very welcoming and incredible in general. It's just when you're the only kind of one of you, it's hard not to notice. I would put a positive spin on it and say that there is a benefit to a conference with few women, and that is, for once, there is no line at the bathroom. And it was also easy to connect with other women there because there were so few of us. And I was able to sit at a table at lunch with a bunch of other women who truly inspire me with the work that they are doing. And I hope that other organizations will follow in Autodesk's example and send more women to these conferences. I'm excited to see this change over time and hope that next year to see a greater female representation. Okay, now let's get into the details of the sessions that I attended as a product manager, and apparently I learned a new term as a low coder who loves Dynamo and dabbles in a little bit of Python and C#. I'll put on the screen here the sessions that I attended and highlight them on the schedule here. I'll mention a few of the takeaways that stood out to me personally. Day one started with the general session. Emil kicked things off and discussed the importance of connected data. Emil is the senior director of the developer ecosystem, and he is brilliant yet humble. Talking to him throughout the conference was truly inspiring. Next was Hardiv. He is the director of product management. And as a product manager myself, I tried to absorb every conversation I had with him. He discussed the rule of thirds and how sustainability, cost, and labor was affecting our industry. Lastly, Tulika, who is also a director of product management, came on stage. She discussed the importance of connection, connected data, connected teams, and connected workflows. The first session I attended was a fireside chat with Michelangelo, an experienced design architect, Emil, and Tulika. They discussed what skills our customers need for their data transformation. They talked a bit about the history of the Revit API, and well, recently I actually spent my Christmas break going into a deep dive into the history of the Revit API and put together an entire presentation about it and how Autodesk switched to an API-centric development back in 2019. And if anyone is interested, I can make a whole presentation or a whole episode about that presentation and the history of the Revit API. But I don't want to get into the weeds since there is a lot to cover in this episode. I didn't realize it when I was doing my research, as in general, I'm kind of terrible with names and remembering names, but Emil was the one who transitioned the team into an API-centric development. Mind blown, I was sitting next to a legend. And at the end of the session, Capra approached me. As I mentioned, I didn't consider myself a developer, which I don't, and invited me to her session later that day for those who consider themselves to be low code or no code. Well, you don't have to ask me twice. The first session obviously started off really strong, and I decided to stay in that same room for a fireside chat with Ron, Julia, Becky, Siddharth, and Virginia. They're all part of various Autodesk partner programs, and they discuss navigating the Autodesk partner program maze. They also discuss the values, the benefits, and how to get involved. I was torn on what session I should attend next. On the one hand, I wanted to hear Emil speak again about how to accelerate your business, but on the other hand, Capra invited me to her session on low code, no code in the developer portal. And if you know anything about me, I have a hard time saying no. Plus, I had been in the same room for 2 sessions and thought I needed a change. So I packed my bag and went over to the workshop hosted by Capra, a senior manager for platform experience, and Sarah, a senior experience design researcher. This was a session I mentioned earlier about being the only woman in the room, but nevertheless, the workshop was great, and I'm so happy that Capra asked me to join because it might have been my favorite of the whole conference. I learned that no code or low code could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And whether you are new and just learning to being a software architect who doesn't write much code anymore, you could all consider yourselves to be no or low code. We got up, walked around, and provided insights on how we would like the developer portal to help more no code or low code people. Plus, I did get to hand out some of these AEC Tech Girl pins that I made to hang on your lanyards. After lunch, I attended the business session by Erica, Rahul, and Dwanil about the developer experience roadmap. And because the session ended early, I was able to catch the second half of Auto AI Chatbot by Saurabh and Mayank. I basically stayed in the large room, the same room that had the general session in them, for the rest of the afternoon. I then attended the technical session by Michelangelo and Shilpa about connected data, Autodesk design and construction data, and ended the first day with a case study by Christoph and Havard. I was then pleasantly surprised to see my boss up on the screen discuss our Forma plugin. We also got to hear and see from some teams involved in the Forma hackathon that was on the previous day. It is so inspiring to see how teams are innovating and experimenting with Forma to support their workflows. The first day was incredible, but it didn't end there because we all headed off to Harpoon Brewery for a happy hour. I'm not much of a beer person, but the food was great with pizza and little snacks. There was a wide selection of beer and, lucky for me, some wine. It is always hard to work up the courage to leave a group of people you know and try to kind of network and connect with new people. And I know I've been working on getting better and better at this. So I used some liquid courage, finished my drink with my team, grabbed another wine, and went out into the wild. I was able to connect with some new faces from all around the world, from Brazil to India. I even got to have more discussions with Emil and Hardiv. There is this quote, and I had to look it up, but it's from the movie We Bought a Zoo. And this is the quote I kind of say in my head at these moments. You know, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage. Literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery, and I promise you, something great will come of it. Day 2 started out with another general session. However, this general session involved Autodesk customers and how they are innovating, which was inspiring to hear. They talked to Sean from iMeg, Maria from Avixi, and Anthony from Jacobs. My first session of the day was a technical session on APS and low code, no code by Jamie and Michael. They taught different platforms we could use to create automations with no or low code. Then I attended the business session by Emil about agile and lean methodologies. And don't tell anyone, but I did snag a copy of the 2024 Design and Make book. Then I apparently couldn't get enough of Jamie and Michael and attended another one of their technical sessions from APS View to realistic images, exploring AI models for rendering. This session was, as they say, a fun session and incredible to see how they are experimenting with AI and rendering capabilities. After lunch, I stuck to the AI topic and heard Capra give a business session called AIable, how and when to incorporate AI into your products. I sat front and center. Well, actually, I sat front and center for all the sessions, but this one in particular, I wanted to really grasp the concepts because I'm working on expanding my own AI knowledge and how to incorporate that into the products that I'm developing. I had so many questions at the end, from the benefits of using existing LLMs or large language models to creating your own and understanding how to train your models. As a dog lover myself, which you might have seen always in the background of my videos, my own dog, she had a great analogy of training a dog to training your AI, which really resonated with me. Then I sat in on another business session with Raul and Erica about how to monetize your APS applications and promote them on the Autodesk App Store. And last but not least was a technical session by Farzad on connecting your Autodesk data models and ecosystems through extensibility. And to be honest, by this last session, my head was exploding with information and I was ready to kind of go lay down and let it all sink in. I didn't end up staying for the last Q&A session, unfortunately, because I had to get ready and I ended the night at Marielle, an incredible restaurant inside of an old post office with some old colleagues and friends from Thornton Tomasetti. It's always great to reconnect and catch up, and I got to see Rob Otani, Nick Mundell, and Ben Howes. TT was my first job after college and holds a special place in my heart, and I wouldn't be where I am today without Ben, because he was actually the one who taught me Revit back at Pratt and helped me get my first job at TT. As you can see, Autodesk DevConX 2024 in Boston was an incredible, enriching experience. The sessions were insightful, the networking opportunities were invaluable, and the chance to connect directly with the brilliant minds behind Autodesk's innovations was unforgettable. Despite the noticeable gender disparity, the conference still managed to foster a welcoming and inclusive environment, and I left feeling inspired and motivated. I'm excited to apply the knowledge and insights I gained, and I can't wait to see how these innovations will shape the future of our industry. If you attended DevConX, I'd love to hear about your experiences, so drop a comment down below. And if you couldn't make it this year, I hope this recap gives you a little taste of what it was like and inspires you to join next time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And for more updates, tips, behind the scenes content, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Until next time, stay empowered, stay inspired, and always challenge what is possible.